I can kind of see the season where I was by looking at the music that I listened to. And that's why I love Spotify, because you have
You have your recap.
the recap.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dang, oh yeah, oh, I was going through a rough time at that. You know, I was up on the stage, spotlight was
By
on
yourself?
me by myself.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was traumatizing. And so
Are you reliving that moment?
I am.
there
I'm
a
just like,
spotlight
oh
on
my
you?
gosh, yes. And there is a spotlight on me. Music is like another language, you know, and people think that music is passive, but no. And at one point, the music kind of stopped and it was just voices. And I was just like, what is this? What heaven sounds like?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And there were you and Jumin
Yeah.
leading the worship. And so, it was
Amazing.
like, I have a playlist of over 500 songs in Chinese. Yes.
Do you have some of your favorite songs or artists?
Artists, definitely. Okay, and they're all old, so just get ready. So there's Zhang Yusheng. He already passed away, you know, but Zhang Yusheng, and then Ame.
Oh, yeah.
Ame,
Yeah,
old Ame.
classic.
Not.
Welcome back to Fun Day Chat. This is part 2 with Michaela. And so with the last episode, we chat with Michaela about language learning because she speaks like 4 languages fluently. And we just talked about your journey and what that looked like and how that informed, even living here in Taiwan, even the culture aspect. But on this episode, we want to talk more about some of your passion. You know, I wanted to get to know, what's some of your passion that you feel like you'd like to share with the people. And I think every single person that's watching, that's listening, we're all gifted with something. And some of us have to discover that gift. It takes longer than others, but we all have something. And we just want to chat today and to figure out like, how did you discover your passion and how are you utilizing it, and get to know more about like, how can we utilize this gift that we're gifted with. And so welcome back to Fun Day Chat.
Thank you.
I prefaced this about, today we're talking about passion, but can you tell us what is this passion that we're talking about?
Singing.
Singing.
Yeah.
So singing, I mean, all of us basically grew up singing, I'd say, to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
We all had to probably sing the national anthem
Yes.
or like a school
day.
song or, whatever it is. But then I think at some point, some of us just recognize like some of us don't quite have the range or like the tone.
Yeah.
And so we don't really pursue it as a thing. But what is this origin story of this passion when it comes to singing?
Yeah. So, like we had said earlier, like I've been singing. I grew up in the church, very literally. So
Okay.
singing has always been there in my life. But I just realized, I think at one point, because my mom sings, my brother, sings to a certain extent. A lot of people in my family sing. And, you're always singing in church, but there would be times when I'm singing along with the song and then I like do a harmony. I'm just like, oh, like, wow, that was
I
nice.
can do that?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
play that back
Yeah,
and do
yeah,
it
yeah.
again, and then I call in my sister and my brother. I'm like, hey, you sing this part, you sing this part. And then we sing it together and we're just like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you've seen those videos online, like people singing either in like parking lots
Yeah.
or like staircase.
Stairwells.
Yeah. And it's beautiful when they're harmonized.
Yes, it didn't sound that nice, but, but just it doesn't have to.
Sure,
sure.
sure.
When you find that perfect harmony, like when you're leading worship and stuff, and then you have that one random person in the back, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I would just find any opportunity I could to sing in a group because I didn't want people to hear me. I just wanted to be in the place where it was happening.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and eventually I got closer and closer to actually singing myself, but it was always kind of incognito until I was kind of not forced, but it was presented to me.
But okay, so why is that? Why was there like a particular moment, like in your childhood, that you had to sing and you
very specific
felt?
moment, yeah. Yes, 2 moments in particular.
Do you care to share?
I will share.
Okay.
So the first one was when I was probably like 4 or 5 years old, and for some reason I was asked to do a solo for
At
the
that
choir.
age?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that's common in the church. You
Okay.
find little kids who can't speak and they're like, sing.
Yeah.
And then, God loves me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was asked to do this solo, and for some reason, like there was a spotlight on me, and this was like a huge
Wow.
church. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was up on the stage, spotlight was
By
on
yourself?
me by myself.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, yeah, traumatizing. And so
Are you reliving that moment?
I am.
Is there
I'm
a
just like,
spotlight
oh
on
my
you?
gosh, yes. And there is a spotlight on me. And so I was up there and I mumbled my way through the solo. And as soon as it was finished, I remember standing there and then I started to cry. And then I like just ran off the stage. Yeah. And
Did was it because of the pressure, or like it didn't feel like went well? What do you feel? Do you remember?
I don't know what, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just, everything was overwhelming.
You just
All these
remember how you
eyes were
felt.
on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even at that age, I remember saying like, I don't want to get married because everyone's going to have their eyes on me. And so like, I'll just do
You
it
didn't
like
want
in
the
secret.
attention.
Yeah. I just did not like the attention.
Wow. Okay.
And so there's that moment. But when I was older, maybe in middle school or high school, there was a very prominent figure in my life who I looked up to a lot. And at this point, I had been mustering up my courage, like, okay, maybe I want to get into this field,
Yeah,
sing a little
yeah.
more. Because at one point, I had a solo in a choir or a musical.
Okay.
It was called School. And it was a school play.
Not high school music.
It was called School.
Oh, just school.
It's just school. It's school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had been given a solo, and I was like, okay, like let me,
Time to come over shell.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, you sing very well. You have a beautiful voice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, what do you think about my voice?
Mm.
And I was being very vulnerable at that moment. And
Yeah, asking somebody else is like
yes,
putting yourself out there.
and somebody that you admire.
Yes.
And I was just like, yeah, what do you think?
And then,
It's nice. I was just like,
oof.
I was crushed. I was like, oh,
Mm.
thank you. And then I went back to my room and I cried. And I was
Oh
just like,
man.
that's when I just shut down completely. Because I was like, dang, if this person said that, and it's not like, it's nice. It wasn't like that. It was like, it's nice. I was just like, wow. So I really don't have what it takes. And so that's
Wow.
when I fully went like incognito,
Back into the shell.
back into the shell, all the way back.
Oof.
Yeah. So
Wow. So that's your journey from your original story.
yeah.
And what does that look like, let's say, in the past few years?
Yeah. And so I came here, coming to Taiwan in and of itself alone. I came in during COVID. So as soon as I got off the plane, it was my birthday. I got off the plane.
And they locked you up.
I was like, happy birthday. And then I went to a quarantine hotel and eating peanut butter egg sandwiches.
And back then was 2 weeks or?
It was 3 weeks. It was
3 weeks of quarantine?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 3 weeks. I had a balcony, thank God.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I was going stir crazy up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Trying to take finals and it was
Crazy.
it was weird. So yeah, but at that time I was really listening to a lot of music and I had a lot of time just by myself and just singing, because it was just me.
Yeah.
So, singing. And then eventually at the church I was going to, it was presented to me, in little steps. 'Cause,
Yes.
I
Like a
think-
little nudge and
yeah,
encouragement,
yeah,
a little push.
exactly, and to build up that confidence again
Yes.
because it had been shattered,
Yeah.
before. And so eventually, I'm a Christian. I go to church, and I was like, God, if you want me, like, I can do this. This is
Yeah.
definitely outside of my comfort zone. Everyone's gonna be looking at me. I can't hide anymore. So if you want me to do this, have somebody invite me to it
Yeah.
because I don't want to get up there and perform either.
right.
And so eventually somebody did. And I said, okay, God, I know I asked.
This is my moment.
This is my moment. So I just said yes. And then it's just grew from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel knowing, like the passion that you've always had sort of being recognized and now being utilized?
It's empowering.
Yeah.
It's very empowering. And it's because everybody wants to feel like they have a purpose.
Yes.
And they want to be walking in that purpose. And when you're not, things feel off.
Yeah.
And so for all my life, things just felt off. And I was like,
It's like a itch that you can't scratch.
oh my gosh, yes. And so once I finally got there, I was like, this is scary, but there's so much, you're alive.
Yes.
You're finally alive.
Yeah.
And so we just got finished watching the Truman Show in one of my classes
Okay.
at school.
Yeah.
But I was like, dang, I should have showed them the Yes Man, because I'm like, maybe I just need to start saying yes to things, you know. But I feel like once I gave singing a try, I was open to so many other things. I was like, well, if I can do this, then maybe I can do this too. And I can go here and I can meet this person.
Yeah, I think there's just stages in life in all aspects that it's sort of like, I mean, life is kind of like a game. You know, you have different stages that you have to conquer. And if you don't particularly learn from, let's say, a mistake that you made, you probably repeat the same thing again. And once you do, you sort of graduate and you make it past the next level. And so it's a growing aspect. But I think even just like building the confidence to have in one regard, because there's obviously many facets to life, but with the passion of singing, you know, like saying yes to that and gaining confidence in that, I see how that can translate into other areas of your life. And yeah, I think it's so cool when we do walk in our purpose, because I do, but I think for me as well, you know, being Christian, we see that God has designed each person uniquely and differently. So no two people walk the same path,
Right.
but we have our journey, and it might take years to have that realization. But I think when you walk in your purpose, it really makes all the difference. So do you kind of remember the very first time you fell in love with singing? Or, I mean, you did kind of already answer this saying, you just always did?
I would say the very first time I realized I loved to do it was when I was doing it with other people. Maybe there were probably other moments. I remember singing with my brother, my twin brother, my other brother. Sorry, Marco, but
Not you.
not you. But my twin brother, Sterling, he got his major in music, and he knows the theory and so where I can just kind of feel it, he can explain it.
Wow.
And sometimes I'm like, that's too much explanation.
Yeah.
But
just trying to feel it right now.
Right,
He's like, you're singing this tone at this.
it's like, shh. But so he, and you know, we're twins. And so at that time, there are things that we just kind of get.
Yeah.
And so like, we'll know the same song and we can pick stuff up where the other left off. And so I would remember singing with him, like a certain song. And then he would just take a part, and then I would take another part, and we didn't have to say it. We would just do it. It's just like, and then you look at each other like,
flow.
yeah, we're just like,
you're
we did that. Yes.
in sync.
Yeah, so there's those moments. But also, I remember at one point when I came to Tainan and for the first time, I think it was the first time, and I went to this worship night at the church I was going to. And I remember it was at night, and they were singing, and at one point, the music kind of stopped, and it was just voices. And I was just like, what is this, what heaven sounds like?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And they were Yuan Jumin leading the worship, and so it was like but it was like harmonies, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so at that moment I was like, man, if I could do that. That's
Yeah. I think like we talked about, you know, off camera earlier, just the connection that and the tie you feel like you have with Yuan Zuming, you know, the Aboriginal people. And there's one thing that I can see that there's a commonality between, you know, the Yuan Zuming and let's say the African culture, especially like African churches, is like there's really something about, you know, the soul in their music that I mean, I'm sure people have heard of it before, but even if you watch American movies, you would have seen, you know, like there's a choir back there, the director, and like you really sense the unity and what a beautiful like creation.
Yes.
When it's like all in sync and harmony and it's kind of like jazz, right? Like every person like has a different part with different music, and I'm sure your brother knows all the technical terms, so forgive me if I'm butchering this, but like the feeling, right? The feeling of like how each musician, you know, they take a part, but then they are playing in sync with the other people, but just like self-expression. So you have that, and then it all just culminates together, and the beauty of it.
Yes, and that's like growing up in the church setting that I did, that's exactly what it was like on Sundays. And it's just one person, you know, you have the choir singing, but it's not a spectator sport.
Yes.
It's something that everybody will participate
Yeah.
in. So you have the tambourine playing auntie, you know, over
Yeah.
there doing her thing.
Yeah.
You got the person dancing over here, and
Yeah.
then you got the person who's taking like the tenor
Yeah,
note
yeah,
down
yeah.
over here.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
sopranos are back there, but everybody is joining in, and that was something that I saw.
Yeah.
So our church got a chance to go to Hualien like a couple of times.
Yeah.
And we got to, I think it was Feng Nianji
Okay.
at that time,
Yeah.
and they were performing, and it was like the youth, but everybody, it was just, they were in sync, and it was like the women had the part, the men had the part, and then you had the is it 主唱, like the person
Yeah.
who
Yeah, the main.
yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh. And I could pick up right away because I was like, this is what we do already.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's
The
I just
commonality there.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so how did singing shape the way you understand yourself, like growing up? Like, do you feel like it's reflected certain seasons of your life, and even sort of like hearing the story now that in the past few years you've had this realization, like what role did music play in all of this?
Did it shape certain seasons of my life? So, let me see. I can kind of see the season where I was by looking at the music that I listened to. And that's why I love Spotify, because you know, you have
You have your recap.
the recap.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dang, oh yeah, oh, I was going through a rough time at
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like when I was struggling in school. Some of the
We all have those.
oh my gosh, I was like, oh yeah, I was really struggling. But the music that I listened to, I can see in the lyrics, you know, what I was going through at that time. And
Yeah.
so for me, music, you asked how did it shape the way that I understood myself? So I used to think that I had to sing a certain way, you know, growing up in a black church, you know, we have very, you know, there's a sound.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have to fit into
That box.
that box. But, you know, yes, I can sing, but, you know, without training and, you know, certain things you just can't do. It's just
Yeah.
like, this isn't working out, you know? So
Yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah.
But with singing, and singing to me, it's not, I don't want to be over spiritual or anything, but
yeah.
I sing because God gave me a song.
Yeah.
And so my singing has a direct correlation with my relationship with God and how
Yeah.
deep I'm going with Him. The
Sure.
deeper I go, the better I sound, but also the more I have to sing about.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? And
yeah.
so I've used song to really understand, like, where am I in life? Where am I with God? You know, and if I'm not singing, that means that I'm, you know, what's going on, Michaela? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Right.
you're out of sync. You know, you're out of touch. So I just use it as a way to express the things that I don't know how to
Yeah.
express, and I use it to think through things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we've had our friend, you know, Miss K, also like making like nodding background, you know, saying like, yeah, she sings a lot and all the time. So what do you think that is about? Like just singing all the time? Like, is it sort of a self-expression or?
I used to think I wasn't very joyful when in the past, like, I didn't show a lot of emotion at all.
Okay.
I was very numbed out. But my brother, my older brother, not Sterling.
Okay.
So Marco,
Yeah.
he doesn't show emotion and stuff. But I remember this one point when he like hugged me, and he hugged me tight, and he likes to do like these tight hugs. And I was
Okay.
like, dang, you know.
Well, you gotta break my spine.
I think that's
You know,
what he's
I
trying to do.
like big hugs. I like strong hugs.
I do, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all the time.
Okay.
So, So he hugged me real tight, and he's like, Michaela, don't lose your joy. And I was just like,
Wow.
because I didn't,
Big brother talk.
and I went back, and I didn't speak after that. I was just like, I won't. And I just thought, because I was like, am I a joyful person though? And so I sing, I think it's because it just bubbles up. There's
Yeah.
just a joy
Yeah.
there. And some people have said that about me. And one of my roommates caught me. She's like, I saw you. I was like, where? She's like, yeah, you were just walking and you had your head up and I was just like, oh my God. But,
Wait, people can see me?
I know, but I'm just like in my own world because
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, look at how beautiful the day is, or
Yeah.
you know, look at that puddle. It's so nice, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just
You can sing about it.
yeah,
You gotta
just
sing.
you
Can't help
know,
it.
my life is like a musical.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my head,
Yeah, yeah. That's
sounds kind
cool.
of crazy. Yeah, yeah. So I just feel joyful. So I
Yeah.
just have to sing about it.
Yeah, I get it because I also sing. I don't necessarily consider myself, a professional in any way, but it's
Yeah.
just I think it's part of a different way of expressing ourselves.
Yeah.
When words sort of fall short at times, a melody, a tune, I don't know, just singing somebody else's lyrics. You get what, and I think some of the more powerful music and songs come from whatever that person was feeling at the time, and it's a very real place that then we connect with.
Music is like another language,
Mm.
and people think that music is passive, but no. I
Yeah.
think music, like you said, we feel it the most when people are writing or singing out of their emotions. I think all music has a purpose and it's coming from somewhere. So I
Yeah.
think people underestimate the power of music, but I think more and more as I talk with my students
Yeah.
too, they are always listening to music,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I actually use music in my classes a lot of time because I'm like, this is what they can connect to.
Yes.
And I could talk to I'm blue in the face, but I need to
Yeah.
use something that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can actually
Relate to and
relate
stuff.
to.
Mhm.
So I've actually started using it more because they're like, oh, okay, yeah, the feels, the vibe.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
Young
like,
people lingo.
Oh my gosh. So I think so, but maybe more and more people are starting, especially with internet, and people have access
Yes.
to more music. And
Yeah.
so I think more and more people are starting to explore that
Yeah.
and creating music on
Yes.
their own. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I even love just the cross kind of cultural music pollination that's happening too, because you're finding people that you typically might not think you would connect with just by, hey, maybe you like the same artist,
Yeah.
but you don't speak the language,
Yeah.
right? And again, like you're saying, music is the language. And
Yeah.
it's so cool because all parts of the world, there are people that probably like the exact same music that you do, and there's that connection point. And I think it's another way of, this is who I am,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, I see you, I get that, because
On that note, some of my ninth graders, if you see this, you know who I'm talking about. But some of my ninth graders, they were like, yeah, I only listen to the Bee Gees. I was like, what do you know about the Bee Gees?
Yeah.
And it's
they
like,
know the Bee Gees?
They know the Bee Gees.
Wow.
He's like, that's all I listen to. ABBA and the Bee Gees.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, dang, you got good
Old
taste.
soul. You're old soul.
So the Bee Gees, some of them listen to Prince and the Sting. And I'm just
Wow.
like, you guys have great taste in music.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I like also even there's the remix, right, of people kind of bringing back these old songs. And there was just something about, those eras that I feel that people can still relate to and add a little twist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still prefer the originals, but
Yeah. Okay, so what's your relationship with music now? Do you feel like it has deepened over the years? It
Yeah.
has changed, or has it all stayed the same?
It definitely hasn't stayed the same.
Yeah.
No. I think it deepens as I understand myself more. You listen to the type of the music that you can relate to.
Yes.
So as I was younger, I wasn't listening to deep
Yeah.
stuff.
Of course.
But but as I get older, like certain songs, so CeCe Winans is one of my
Yeah.
top artists all time.
Yeah,
She's been
she's
with me from
brilliant.
the beginning.
Okay. Shout out.
Shout out to CeCe Winans. Yes, but I listened to one of her albums because my mom would listen to it all the time. So I listened to it when I was younger, and I liked certain songs, the fast songs.
Yeah.
Like the slow ones. Mercy said no. I was
Yeah.
no, skip,
Can't relate.
Can't relate.
Next.
Moving on. But as I got older and in different seasons of my life, I would actually go back to that song, and I was like, oh my gosh,
That's what they were saying.
this is what they
That's
were
what they meant.
saying. So as I get older, the songs have deeper meanings because I am growing and
Yeah.
I am getting deeper.
Yeah.
So definitely music, and then my tastes are expanding.
Yes.
Like actually, Hillsong, Bevel, those kinds.
Yeah, yeah.
Before I was like, nah, pass.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
you know. But
I hear you. Yeah.
but now I'm just like, what is it? Raise a Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Or that's still kind of old, but you
Yeah.
know, those songs I can listen to them now because I am like, this is another way to express
Yes.
myself. It doesn't all
Yeah.
have to be gospel.
Right,
and,
right,
You
right.
know, I can branch out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so.
What about, I don't know if you have any, but like, are there any Chinese songs or artists that because you've been here now close to 5 years, 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you ever dabbled into like the space of the Asian
Definitely.
music. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have a playlist of over 500 songs in
Okay.
Chinese. Yes.
Do you have some of your favorite songs or artists?
Artists, definitely. Okay, and they're all old, so just get ready. So there's Zhang Yusheng. He already
Okay.
passed
Yeah,
away,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, but
yeah.
Zhang Yusheng, and then Ame.
Oh, yeah.
Ame,
Yeah,
old Ame,
classic.
not now.
Okay.
Ame, who else? Zhang Yusheng. There's a Zhou Huajian.
Oh, yeah.
Zhou Huajian.
Yeah.
And then a lot of
Wow.
Yuanzhumin. So
Okay.
there is what's his name? Chen Jiannian. So he's saying Haiyang.
Ah, okay.
Haiyang. And who else? Jia Jia, she has a very beautiful voice. Abao,
Okay.
Abao Renren, and Sang Pui. All of them are Yuanzhumin.
Well, how do these songs and artists impact how you perceive like music and stuff compared to all the other stuff that you've listened to growing up?
Okay. So
I'm sure it hits different, right?
it does.
Yeah.
So my very first album that I bought was actually Haiyang from Chen Jiannian.
Okay.
And I bought it because there was something in the simplicity of the packaging, and
Okay.
it was, I think he hand drew
Okay.
some of like a lot of the
Covers.
artwork in there,
Okay.
and there's a whole story about why he wrote what he wrote and the process and
okay.
the pictures, and it was in black and white. I just like old things.
Okay.
I was just like,
So the marketing team did a good job.
they did
They
a
got
good
you.
job. They got me
Yeah.
good. Yes.
And then you listen to the music
and
and,
I
it,
listened to the music, and it was so beautiful. Like, so the very first song, it's Haiyang,
yeah.
but you can hear the ocean in the background, the breeze. I think he's
Love
on
that sound.
Lanyu Da. I think
Okay,
that's where
yeah.
he is.
Yeah,
So you
it's
can hear the
beautiful.
breeze, you can hear the wind chimes, and you can hear like a dog barking, a kid crying, and you know, they're just like singing together and
Yeah.
laughing and joking and just making fun. But I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Like you're
this is
transported there.
You're transported there. And I'm like, this is so peaceful and it's so organic because at some point too, you have people, it's just like they're coming out of the woodworks, just like adding on to the song. And everyone, we talked about like that expression.
Yeah.
Everyone's just expressing themselves, and nothing is serious, but at the same time, it's very serious, very solemn
Yeah.
at times. And
Yeah.
there's a track where he sings in his native dialect or his native tongue.
Yeah.
And then he has an elder who comes on. He's giving like some kind of wisdom. I don't know what he's saying,
Yeah.
but I'm just
But
like,
you can feel it.
I can feel it. I'm just like, oh my God. So that album was the most, like, I bought and listened to the whole album.
Yeah.
And it just transformed. I was like, I need to learn Chinese so I can understand,
Yeah.
you know, what he's writing
Yeah.
and be able to like talk to him one day and meet him
Yeah.
and talk to him.
Wow.
And, yeah. So that one, and just a fun fact, Zhang Yusheng, when he passed away, he had an album that he put out. It's called 口是心非.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah?
口是心非.
Yeah.
And that album was actually produced like on the day I was born. So I was just
Wow.
like, I felt a connection when I
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh my God.
Meant for me.
It was meant for me. So
Wow.
yeah, I can get with Chen Jiannian and Zhang Yusheng. Those two. Like
Gotcha.
top down.
Well, so to end off here with this last question, I think like, again, today we're talking to you about singing, but a lot of people have different passions that they might not be courageous enough or bold enough to kind of and try to do it or haven't really discovered it. But what would you say to them to kind of encourage them to not be afraid? Because I think in your journey, this really applies that you found your passion, you had this gift, and in this past few years, you've had the realization and now the platform to utilize it. But I'm sure there was times of fear and, you know, how do you kind of overcome that?
Okay. Why are you doing it? You know, for me, I didn't sing because I was focused on myself. I'm not good enough. I don't sound whatever enough, I'm not enough.
Right.
But when I took the focus off myself and it's like, this is what I was created to do. I don't, and the way that it manifests, it doesn't necessarily have to be me singing professionally.
Right. Right.
There's a quote that I put outside of my door is that everybody has a voice that's unique to them. Everybody has something that's unique to them. No matter how, if you feel like your piece of trash, like it doesn't matter. Everybody has something that has been put on the inside of them that only you can do.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the most skilled, but it's something that only you can do.
Yeah.
And you are the person that's going to reach somebody with whatever that gift is.
Yes.
And if you don't do it, somebody's not going to get reached. So I'll use this as an analogy. The national anthem, the American national anthem, has been sung by many.
Oh yeah.
Many.
Countless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Many good renditions. You know,
Yeah.
Mariah Carey, Destiny's Child, Marvin
yeah.
Gaye. A lot of people sang it. But the one that moves me, can you guess?
No.
Okay. Whitney Houston. All-time favorite.
When did she do that? I didn't.
I think it was 90-something. It was
Okay.
90-something. And I remember when she sang it, they were like jets that flew over. She had an orchestra behind her.
Wow. Okay.
It was beautiful. She looked like she just woke up and was just like, here we go.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but I don't cry
Yeah.
with things, but some tears fell
Wow.
when I listened to it because
Same lyrics, same words.
same
but
lyrics,
different.
something about her singing it. And mind you, Beyonce has a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Mariah has a beautiful
yeah,
voice.
yeah.
But it was some, and Whitney does too, but she is meant to move me, not Mariah, not Beyonce. So everybody is like a Whitney to somebody.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how well you do the thing. There's always going to be someone who's better than you.
Yes.
But there is something that only you can do.
Yeah.
And someone has to hear or see you do it. You don't know why, you don't know who it's for. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Wow. That is very well said and well put. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's a good reminder for the audience, myself included, that all of us have a voice and it all will look different. But when we take the focus off ourselves, we recognize that the impact of our life is way more significant than just me wandering this world, right? And I think that is the ultimate thing, that we are relational beings. And so we do impact one another. And so even thank you for coming and sharing your story today, right? I'm sure whoever is watching out there, there might be some trigger, some impact, some nudge, push for them to also discover their purpose and passion and be encouraged, and then it's a ripple effect. It just keeps going on and on and on. And so we all have to play our part. For this closing, we'll do something a little more unique and special. We have an opportunity to hear your passion and something that you've been practicing and been passionate about for a long time, and now you finally have the courage to step up and actually utilize your gift. So I'm sure the audience would like to see you utilizing your passion. And so if you don't mind to pick any song that you'd like, but maybe you can sing a little teaser to share with the audience.
Okay. So in the interview, we talked about how songs changed meaning, shifted their meaning, and developed a deeper meaning as I grew deeper. So one of my artists was, of all time, CeCe Winans. So I'm going to pick a song that it's a hymn, but she did a rendition, and that rendition is in my mind and in my heart. So it's How Great Thou Art.
All right. The stage is yours.
Okay. All right. Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, and I see the stars, and I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Wow. Hear the people clapping. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and sharing and being vulnerable with that. And I think you can really see what God is doing. And so, I continue to encourage you to use the beautiful voice and, live out that passion.
Amen. Thank you.
So hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.